So welcome back to the second segment, episode 200, Sold with Updike Pugh. I'm Jeff Updike.
I'm Weston Pugh, just in time.
Just in time.
Woo! You got going on that one, didn't you, Dirty boy?
Well, the thing that the subject we're going to talk about in our second segment today is the repairs to help your home sell in a cooling real estate market.
It is so important. And it's not always that every market is cooling. We want to make sure that's clear. But we want you to also be smart and get the most money you can and experience the less frustration and pain in this remodeling.
So what brought this up was an article that we were reading from Dr. Jessica Lautz, I believe. I'm guessing Jessica, I think I have that right.
You do.
She is one of the vice presidents of the National Association of Realtors, talks about consumer behavior, really puts out some interesting stuff.
And we heard her at the economic summit that just happened for 2023, put on by MLS. And so when this article came out, we really wanted to jump in on it because it had elements to it that we thought were really interesting. And one of the first ones that stood out was that 95% of sellers have actually done some type of renovation to their home. And that is up 71% in just 12 months.
And you know, it is. And I mean, people always want to be able to talk about how much they got for their home. And so the only way to increase that is by improving it and adding features and benefits. But a lot of times those features and benefits that you're adding don't really bring back dollar for dollar.
Exactly. And so the goal to repairs in pre-market are to replace worn and old items, a garage door, that garbage disposal. These are items that you want to go ahead and take and get that handled so it doesn't show up on the inspection report and so that you can have a handyman make that repair rather than hiring a licensed electrician.
Yes, and the other, what you're also wanting to accomplish with this is to improve the livability and the functionality of living in the home.
Absolutely. So whether that's bringing down a wall or it's actually replacing a window, these are important elements. And neutralizing. Let's talk about that because that could not be more important. And it's one of the few things that you can actually do on your own, which are odors and the palette. So these are critical things.
And anything that has to do with safety also needs to be addressed.
Absolutely.
Any minor gas leaks that you have, and we frequently find minor gas leaks around fireplaces. We find them around heat and air conditioning, hot water heaters. You also need to think about the smoke detectors, CO2 detectors, any of those that really are going to be providing a safety measure.
And so for the first four things that we want to talk about that need to get done, the first one really surprised me because it is hardwood floors and the resurfacing of hardwood floors. And I thought that was interesting that was their number one. And I was even more shocked that you recoup 147% of your costs that you expend on that, which is a great thing. And looking at it, I really get why it's so important.
It is. And buyers want to be able to move in. They just want to be able to have a blank palette when they come in and be able to put their furniture down, put their art on the walls, and have their home.
Absolutely. And one of the other things too is that when it comes to photography and marketing your home, nothing actually shows better than continuous similar hardwood floors, if not the exact same.
And did you say the number?
147%.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure it got said.
And if you're hot and you're in Texas, what's the number two thing?
Insulation.
Goodness.
Huge impact.
Huge impact, especially in Dallas. And you don't really realize it, but insulation, whether it's insulating your high pressure, low pressure HVAC valves, whether it's insulating the attic, these are elements that are not super expensive. They are going to show up in your inspection report. They do make a difference on the buyer's utility costs almost immediately.
Sealing the cracks in between your fascia and the brick or any kind of openings that you have, you really need to do those.
And as I mentioned before, let's get rid of that palette and watch that because houses that are really light and bright on the inside sell about 31% faster than the houses with lots of beautiful color that you spent tons of time and 500 swatches on. I'm guilty of it as well, but that white house actually sells. It is a palette that a buyer can move right into and imagine all of their own things in there.
It really can. And again, it provides that owner with that blank canvas that they really want.
And this is a big one. The next one is a really important one because it actually involves your insurance company.
It does.
And that could.
Okay. It's your roof. Your roof needs to be addressed. If you have a bad roof, if you have a roof that's more than halfway through its life, you're going to need to address it one way or another. And
absolutely.
It either has to be addressed in the pricing, the negotiation, or go ahead and put a new roof on.
And here's the thing too, is that we realized in the last 18, 24 months is that buyers want that done before they close. And that really that's a lot of work to get done after the option period is over, because we're down to like 22 days sometimes or less, depending on the closing date. If that gets pushed back, sometimes a buyer has only a 30 to 45 day lock on their interest rate. If you push that back, that could actually change their interest rate and cause a lot of friction within the transaction.
And it also creates insurability for the home. When you are able to provide, or the buyer is able to provide that certificate to their insurance company showing that roof was on, it also makes that house more attractive to them because their insurance costs are lower.
Absolutely. And again, that's 100% that you get on that cost of the roof. Now, the don'ts, which really surprised me as much as the do's did, was the actual kitchen. And the kitchen only got 47% of return on investment. And I think for years it has been the thing that we all talk about. You get all of that back. But I think the cost of appliances has skyrocketed so much right now that I think that may have really impacted this and caused that number to completely shift, because they're really crunching the data and the dollars.
And most of the time, homeowners don't have the contacts necessary to be able to get it done without having a contractor in there. And a contractor is critically important to big projects like that. They're really the one that kind of brings everything together. And in many instances, they're going to charge you as much as 25% of whatever the project is as their fee to oversee that project. And it is worth every penny on a project that size.
But again, it really takes a toll on what is recoupable. And that's why I feel like that number has shifted so much, because of those two items. Now, one of the other things that you need to take into consideration are projects and the time that it's going to take to do them. That is really important now more than ever because of the breakdown in supply chain.
It really is. You need to think about what's the scope of the work. How much time do you really have before you're going to bring that home to market?
Absolutely, because if you miss the window, it is a huge problem. Now, the last thing that we're going to talk about is that before any of these projects get done, one of the most important things you can do is actually call us to actually run comps. Knowing the data and what that neighborhood can stand, given the square footage, given the size and the bedroom count, is critical, because you start crunching it down to like $2 and $3 a square foot, and that can make a huge difference depending on how big your house is.
It really can. And so we hope you found this helpful today. If there's any other topics that you want to talk about, reach out to us. We'd be happy to make that happen.
And just remember, we want to be realtors for life.
When you're ready to talk real estate, you can reach us online, by phone, or by text at 214-377-2223.
And remember, we want to be realtors for life.